Hey guys, I'm Leah. I am a homeschool mom, a firefighter wife, and a small business owner slash photographer. So I wear a lot of hats, and I know a lot of you are coming into this new homeschooling journey or schooling at home journey over the next couple of weeks because of what's going on in our country, unfortunately, and all over the world. And so I just wanted to share a few tips with you and helping you to prepare to not lose your sanity and to help your child succeed over these next couple weeks, and that you both can really enjoy your next time. So I'll be sharing a few homeschool tips, sanity tips, and hopefully you'll stick around and give me a thumbs up. I am a homeschool mom. I've been doing this now for 3 years, and I always was planning on putting them into school. I've taught in the private school, I've taught in public school, and my husband was actually homeschooled. And we debated for a while what we were going to do. My daughter was in private school and kindergarten, and then we moved to homeschooling. One of the main reasons for us is some learning issues with 2 of my kids, and one of them especially I knew would be a real struggle to sit in the classroom all day and not be able to flip upside down in his seat and lay on the floor and all sorts of things, and then just have some auditory things as well. So with that, I just know that when I first went into homeschooling, it was terrifying. And I kept telling all of my friends that I knew that were homeschooling that I just had no patience to homeschool. At that time, I was a public school teacher, elementary PE. So I taught 600 kids a day. And by the time I got home, I had no patience left for my own kids because I had given it to all my students, which I still called my kids. If you're a teacher, you understand that. I mean, you call your students your kids and you call your kids because they are your kids. But I know at the end of the day, I just had no patience left. So I couldn't even imagine the thought of having to sit with my kids all day, my own personal kids, and teach them and not lose my patience constantly because, it's tough being a mom in general and then having to teach your kids. So I just want to encourage you that all of my friends that I continue to say, I can't homeschool, I don't have patience for that. And all of my friends said, neither do we, but we still do it. So you can do this. There are so many resources. The good thing is the homeschooling community here is huge. Granted, I know we're going to be limited on what we're allowed to do, though not necessarily allowed to do, but your decision on what you're willing to risk going places and things like that. But the good thing is, I can't stress it enough. When I first started homeschooling, I overdid it. I literally had a carpet for circle time and all these different things. We stood up and we did the pledge, which was still really important to me, and I wanted to teach them those, like the pledge and everything. But I made it so insanely structured that it was way too much. It was very overwhelming for my kids. It was very overwhelming for me. And although for some kids, structure is awesome. Being in the public school system and even the private school system, I definitely dealt with students that did have different learning capabilities, I guess is the way to put it. And some kids, structure, they would thrive on it. And even my son, I think he thrives more on structure. And then my daughter, I feel like sometimes the structure makes her feel like she's in jail. And that's how I am. Structure makes me, I like setting a time to do something. All of a sudden my brain just goes bonkers and I can't think anymore. So this is the magnet board. Again, obviously you're not going to be able to go out shopping right now, or I guess you can if you want to deal with getting out there. But if you have a magnet board at home, you don't have to do magnets. You can see on the bottom here, I just did dry erase on sometimes when they would lose their magnets, which happens. So for those of you that this is only a temporary schooling at home thing, sorry, you can hear my kids in the background. Obviously you're not going to want to do this. I had a lamination machine, so I would just laminate and go that way. And so then they could switch around, switch around whatever they wanted to do for the day, but this is what they had to get done. And then they could do it in whatever order they wanted and whatever breaks they wanted to take. So I have a magnet board full of different activities that are something that's more stimulating for the brain. That didn't sound right. Not stimulating for the brain, but just something other than math and language arts. So to give them a chance to be either creative in art or get out and exercise or do chores or things like that. So just something different. So I had a list of different things that they could do there. So you can kind of see the different things listed here. They knew what the acronyms were for certain things. If you've never heard of SSRW, which is probably backwards on your screen, but it's Sing, Spell, Read, and Write, which has been a really good phonics program for my kids to learn how to read. So that's a great thing to check out. If they are very sing-songy, that's a great program. So this was nice because then if they said, oh, well, you know, I'd really rather do art early in the morning, if you're an artsy person, then they can move it down and go from there. And then obviously they lost their sight words because then that's there. And then they can move it however they want and kind of work that. And it just made them feel like they had some sort of control over their homeschooling experience. So that might be an option once you get the list from your teacher on what they're supposed to be doing for school. Brainstorm with your child and go ahead and say, okay, well, let's write down every subject or task that you have to do each day. And then let's plan out a schedule that you feel good with. Or if you know that's too much control to give to your child, block off things. So say, okay, before lunch, we're gonna do, you have this time. So would you rather do math in the morning or would you rather do language arts in the morning? And then, so you're kind of giving them some control, but you're still in control. So it kind of depends on how much control you want to give your child. If you want them to be able to do this and just rearrange their whole day, or if you want to give them blocks and say, okay, during this block, you can either do math or language art. During this block, you can do math or language arts, or add in your art or your science or things like that there. So just giving them a little bit of freedom to feel like they have some say in what they're going to be doing, I think will help you and your sanity to get through these weeks. I would build in breaks. Some of those breaks would be go run around the backyard. Some of those breaks would be go play a puzzle. Sometimes it would even be chores because that would how we would get our chores in, but it's still getting up and moving was a big thing for my kids. And I'm going to do another video on this later as well because like I said, I homeschool my children because of some things with learning capabilities, I guess the way I like to say it, that helps them when they're stressed and everything. So I'm going to do another video to show you different tips and tricks for children that they get stressed out or overwhelmed or easily distracted. It's a few things up my sleeve that I use a lot. But this is one thing that kind of makes it fun too. I got these at Sam's Club. So if you have like, the battery is low on this one, so it's not as good, but it's like a neon board. You can see where the leftover in my battery is gone, so it won't erase anymore. But this was fun for the kids, like when they were practicing their sight words, and a lot of younger elementary age students are probably going to have to practice sight words this week and next week. If you're doing that at home, it's very important to try to keep them up to date on those. So it gets boring to do the same old thing of practicing your sight words. So make it interesting and different. You let them do different things. So this is one of the options that you can do is get these little boards if you already have one at home. So it kind of writes neonish. And then if your battery's working, it'll erase. If not, give them a dry erase board to do their sight words. Do something different. Give them stamps, give them stickers, give them stencils to do their sight words. One of the most favorite things for my kids to do is telephone code sight words, which actually I learned years ago when I was a teacher assistant over at Arrowhead Elementary in Virginia Beach. And the telephone code was you give them an actual phone, a picture of a phone dial, and they have to write in code. So the letter A would either be 1, 2, or 3. The letter B would be 4, 5, 6. So it's just a fun little code, and then they can give it to a friend and they have to figure out what the word is. So if you need anything, I'm here to help. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you guys stay safe and sane through this time. All right, see ya. I'm gonna stop talking.